miracle of human perspective.
This video came from YouTube.
It's trending on Twitter.
Why is it not on the news?
The Mande1a Effect.
Wait, what?
It's the Mande1a Effect.
The lion will lie down with the lamb.
Come on! I'm starting the show here. We're rolling.
Unbiased and on the fence.
Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you so much for being here. I am joined with my guest today, Michelle Wolfe. How are you doing today, Michelle?
So awesome. It's a beautiful day here. Sun shining. First day of spring.
Yeah, and I want to mention
Favorite time of year.
mention right away that your wonderful artwork in the background. You're actually in your art studio, and it looks wonderful.
My creative space, right?
That's one of the things I've noticed that a lot of artists and musicians and stuff see the Mande1a Effect, and I think it has to do with some of those early on messages I got about, good thing I forgot to turn you up. There we go. Sorry.
That's okay. Should I say hello again?
Yes, please do. Yeah, that's your
Hello,
art
everybody.
studio in the background.
That's my art studio.
I'm a noob. Sorry, you guys. We can't hear her. They're yelling at me.
Oh.
Sorry. Okay. Volume on Michelle. No
Hello,
sound.
hello. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Can't hear her either. Sorry, I was reading the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. 23 people hopped in already. You guys are quick.
Welcome.
So yeah, I was just mentioning that's our art studio in the background. I guess you guys heard my part of it. You just didn't hear hers. But yeah, it's beautiful with the Mande1a Effect. I was saying how many musicians and artists see it, and I think it's part of that right brain thing. It's whoever, because it's almost meditative when you're doing art, isn't it? It's sort of like you're engaging.
Absolutely. I'm in my own little world, and that's why I've, I think making the time for it every day now and working on it constantly is helped me. It's like meditating all day. So,
and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really great.
It's like a storyteller, but with pictures. So it's like while you're painting these pictures, like you see in the background, it's like you're there. It's like you get.
That's exactly it. Just like we were talking about yesterday. When I was a kid, I could like put myself into, the Lego house that I was building or the dollhouse that I was, making, and
we lose that as adults. I think a lot of times we quit pretending and we quit, grow up. You know what I mean? Quit pretending, and then it's like for people who don't get into art or music or writing or this sort of creative part of your brain, you sort of get pushed to the left side, the analytical part, where it's like your schedule and stuff like that. So you have had prophetic dreams. You said it started around 16.
Yeah, I'll just add one little comment to your last thing there.
Okay.
I like to say, if you can see it, then you can believe it, and if you can believe it, then you can achieve it, and it doesn't matter how beautiful that picture is or wild or crazy, right?
Definitely.
So visualize. Okay, so
Dream.
yes, I've had prophetic dreams, my whole life, and like I was telling you yesterday, I literally feel like I have lived many lives in my dream, and to me now there's often not much of a difference in a memory recall of a dream or of the real thing. It's very, very vivid to me. So.
And you've had it a lot of times where you've dreamt something and then actually lived it out in real life. Like that's how it was prophetic, is because over and over again you've had these instances where you dreamt something and then it happens.
Yeah, and it could be like the simplest little things. What I've noticed over the years is often they're like little place markers. I'll get a feeling of where the walls are around me and where people are standing around me and the sequence of the conversation, and I think that's why for me personally, what I would think of as deja vu, to me, I know now what it is for me is that, I have dreamt it. So in building that recall over the years and spending attention more focusing on those dreams that resonate with me like that, then I'm able to see it's not, just a deja vu, but I find them like place markers in life, milestones where something is about to really change, or I am really changed over into like a completely like a new environment. So I may picture that new environment like 2 years before I actually get there. And what stays with me is, you know, the surroundings, the vibration that I'm feeling in it, the conversation words that are being said, and such, and that's what stays with me, right?
So do you think it varies? Like, okay, so from the time that you have a dream and then the time that you actually live it out, does it vary? Like, you know, could it be a
Yes.
day or a year? Or
Yes.
does it seem like
Absolutely.
the intensity of it? Like, how can I say this? Like, if it's a really important dream, you get it further ahead in advance. Like, you know, because you mentioned the one you had as a teenager where it was like you were in school in the classroom or whatever, and then it seemed like you lived
And
it
see,
out pretty quick,
that
right?
was a very, and that was a very simple scenario. Like that was like, what's the importance of that? I see now, well, the importance of it was not necessarily the situation, but for me to finally fully see and understand that that's what was going on. So by it happening that night and getting up and thinking about it and going, you know, going to school. And well, I guess I shared it with you yesterday, but I'll just give, because it is a pretty quick scenario sort of thing. I had a dream that I was in my second period science class. It was in grade 10. And we had the, you know, the long tables as opposed to the individual desks that you would normally sit in because it was science class. And so I'm sitting in the class, and who would normally, the boy who would normally be sitting beside me, I look, he's not there, and I turn and I look over my shoulder, and he's in the corner just sitting at a desk, and he waves at me and I wave at him, and I turn back around. And it's like nothing. But the reason that it stuck with me in the morning, and one of the reasons that these dreams are different, is because there's a resonance is the best word I can say. There's a resonance that I feel with them. So they do feel different. There's a depth of feeling to them, and the visual is very strong, and it sticks with you because it resonates. So, you know, so I get up the next day and I'm thinking about that. Even like, why would that be so important to have that kind of feeling attached to it? And, you know, and I'm going into my second period science class, and I'm thinking, you know, well, this is where I had a dream last night, and I go sit down in my spot. And then what happened was, well, it was a quiz that day. So to prevent cheating or looking at your neighbor's papers, everybody got divided up. And so he got put at a little desk in the corner, and I look, and he looks, and he waves, and I wave back, and I go, okay.
That's
Okay.
trippy, huh? And you were 16 at the time?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
but one of the other times where it literally happened the night before and then happened the next week, because there usually is a bigger gap between them. But there was one scenario where I actually was explaining it to my girlfriend, the dream. We were going into a bar, right? And I'm telling her in the car about my dream. I'm like, I dreamt that we went here, and this, you know, that guy who was kind of giving me the creeps. Well, he, you know, I was walking up to the bar, and he walked right, you know, out of nowhere, kind of came and walked across my path, and again, sort of a simple scenario, but I tell her about it, and literally we go in, and she watched it play out. She
Wow.
watched it happen, you know, and I'm walking up to the bar, and just exactly like I see, and he walks across, and I'm like, and I go, she's like, oh my God, like that's exactly what you said. So I'm like, it's not just, so, but again, that was, I think, another tool for me to say, no, this is really real
Yeah.
for you, Michelle. This is real for you, right?
That's
So
wild. So has it ever like saved you? Like, have you had a dream like that you went somewhere and there was an accident and then you knew, hey, I better not go there? Has it?
nothing like that.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, no. I did not dream of 9/11. No,
Right, right.
no. Unfortunately, nothing like that. I just find it more marks stages in my life personally. I mean, I'm sure I get warnings. I get messages and such in dreams. You know, not all of my dreams have to be prophetic in order for me to be learning and getting messages. That's far from the truth. The prophetic part of it is just really one element of what my dreams do for me. right?
Mm-hmm.
They teach me many, many, many things, and have taught me not to fear. That's, it's one of the big things. Have taught me not to fear. Have taught me how to overcome fear, how to overcome nightmares, and how to deal with situations, or when I'm avoiding a situation. And they've given me short stories to write. They've given me messages to share with other people. And then over the last 3 years, before I even knew anything about Ascension, even though I was always into the esoteric and all of those things, I hadn't heard of it at all until, just over a year ago now.
Wow.
And so I started having those dreams probably in 2013. And
Had no reference point really with,
no,
you weren't in the
and I would
circles.
have them repetitively, and so vivid, and so strong and so powerful, and the message always the same.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what's going on out there, you got nothing to worry about.
So have
You
you
know what to
had
do.
the feeling of, I think his name is Philip K. Dick, who had similar situations where he would see things and then they would play out, and I don't know if it was dreams or whatever, but he was a writer, and they've got this clip of him from like in the 70s. Sounds like he's talking about the Mandela effect and that we're in this
Oh yeah.
matrix and stuff. Have you had the feeling like we're in a
I
simulator
I
because of
write,
this?
so I do journal. I do write stuff down. Yeah, I do write stuff down, and I write down. What's crazy is, and I thought about this the other day, I'd almost forgotten about it until I heard somebody talking about leveling up, and I'm like, oh my God, I wrote down. I had to check the date, but it was a few years ago. The story idea just kept going through my head, that I actually had to write down these notes. I'll have to pull that out for you. Maybe we'll do that next show. Maybe I'll pull out some of the journal stuff for next time, because I do write stuff down where I can. I go back and I can go check.
Wow. Well, you
Yeah,
mentioned
so
previous
that's the thing,
lives.
just as much as the dreams. Sometimes, if not more.
You've
It's just
mentioned
writing stuff down.
You've mentioned living other lives, or is it somewhat like when people go into hypnosis, like with Dolores Cannon, and they see
It
another
must
life?
be. It must be. I would imagine so.
Do you ever experience the same life in different dreams, like the same other life? Like, I don't know. Like, what's one of the other lives that you've dreamt about? Like, were you a guy in London,
I'd be,
or
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Not that specific about where I'm living. I find if I'm dreaming about like our plane here in the towns and such, I think sometimes I'll be in maybe a different timeline, right, and be seeing another timeline.
but not a
I
time,
think
not an era, like the raging 20s, or you know what I mean, like just the
not that specific to detail. But then I've had very futuristic dreams for sure.
oh,
Well,
that's
I
cool.
would say more futuristic than going old. If I go back in time, it's much more rudimentary than even civilized time, I would say.
Oh, I see.
I've watched, sometimes I'm just an observer, like watching a movie, I'm not even in it.
Oh, that's pretty
And
cool.
that's where I'll see different things like that. I watched the whole evolution of civilization on a planet. It wasn't quite our civilization because the beings were a little bit different, but it definitely followed through of how violent things begin with. So violent that I wouldn't want to. I'd want to close my eyes or not see what I'm seeing, but in watching an actual progression and evolution, and I realized sort of the significance of that dream, over the last year and things that I've studied, seeing that what it was showing me in a way is our evolution, but that it's not just actually our evolution with this,
Right.
that there is other planetary evolutions either that have gone through it before, that are going through it as well, or will be going through it in the future, that it's we're not the only ones necessarily to have experienced this kind of bloody evolution to civilization and hopefully to enlightenment, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
So what other kinds of beings have you seen? And are they other like humanoid or, you know?
Uh, yeah, humanoid for sure. Um, it's sometimes very hard to get a clear picture. Mm. Um, Not like just looking at a person's face. I don't get as much detail as that, but it's annoying. Sometimes it's more annoying. I'm a very, very visual person that can be very clear, but also just as important to that is not what I am just seeing, it's what I'm knowing.
Because it's a
In
lot of
that
learning
instance.
involved. It's like a lesson you're being taught through the
Oh,
experience,
I'm being told. I'm being told a story. Yeah, being told a story of what's going on in our story and why and the progression of it. And it's pretty amazing.
Well, let's
It
get
really
into the
is.
exciting stuff about New Earth. When was the first time you got a glimpse of? Because you mentioned yesterday you had like you saw different abilities we have and just the way things
Well,
look and the
I
shift
feel
itself, right?
so the shift itself a lot. So the majority of the stuff I get is the pre, before, and I think a lot of the things that I saw, like 3 years ago, are things that we've actually even avoided now happening. That are not,
I've
maybe they
heard
were
that
things
before.
that could have happened, but also in a way, they're still evident everywhere. There's still things that people are talking about. They're still talking about volcanoes. They're still talking about tsunamis. They're still talking about asteroids. They're still talking about Nibiru, right? But how much those things actually impact us now, I think, is a lot more subtle, hopefully. But maybe that's our experience. That's what we're experiencing. For other people, I think, experience different things, right?
Right.
Where so I would see a whole kaleidoscope of all these different things going on, but they are all signs. They're just all signs pointing in the same direction, really. And I think I was shown all these things too to sort of match up with all the signs that are there. You have to match the dots. Oh, okay, that's there and that's there, and that helps you place the timeline and such as well, and see the relevance and the affirmation to what I'm seeing as well. But so sorry. A lot of the stuff that I would see was more before, and the stuff being prepared as well before, as opposed to only really saw a couple times where I actually ended up on a new planet, and very wild, very totally back to nature is really what I experienced with that, and a real starting over again.
And the
But how much?
teleporting that you mentioned yesterday, I thought that was
Yeah.
really neat.
So really, what I find more is a training program that I've been undertaking in learning those new abilities. That's what I realize now. I'm like, oh, okay. Now that I find out, oh, well, you're going to learn how to do this and you're going to learn how to do that, and it's like, okay, so that's. I see now that I've been training doing those things. So, flying is one of those things. I'm an avid flyer in my dream, and I've been practicing that for a long time. It started where it was really difficult, and I had to use my hands to push the air up to like lift myself, and to the point where now it had a lot to do in your belief and your ability to do it. And as soon as you doubt yourself, you start to go back down. But so I did a lot of training with that for sure over the years. So I could be at the point where it's like and just lift, but feel the vibration within myself, and it's training me to feel my energy too. So by learning how to feel my energy in my dream has taught me now in my awake time to feel my energy. It's a recall of resonance, and it's a recall of that feeling, and helps me in meditation, helps me in all of those things. So I would sort of focus on that vibration and be able to pick myself and move myself wherever I want to go, and the clarity involved. And I think maybe I was astral projecting as well at the time, because it would be so clear too. What's the visuals around me? I can feel the wind on my face. I can feel the rain. I can see every detail in a leaf, and I'll even say to myself in a dream, okay, well, I can't be dreaming right now, because this is far too clear. So this has to be real.
Right.
So I'll say that to myself. Because there's other times where I'll be in a dream where I say, no, this is a dream. I'm not playing that game.
Right. Well, I've
I'm
had it.
not, no, I'm not doing it your way. I can do it my way.
I've had it a
The
few times. I just wanted
yeah,
to say I've had a few times where
yeah.
I woke up recently and I felt like I was in training, but I just can't remember any of it. And
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
said that. Yes, you don't, I don't
yeah,
remember it all clearly either right now too. There's just so much going on in sleep mode right now. So like I said, when I journal, I couldn't journal dreams because then I just felt like I never got any sleep. So I was working all night long. But yeah, so the teleportation was pretty cool. I practiced at doing that, and it was an interesting experience. And I know I was being taught it by an otherworldly being, which I can't quite see clearly, but I know that's what they were. And it was I was standing and sort of placed into this. You know what the closest description to it would be? Like getting on one of those stand-up roller coaster rides. It's really silly, but where you sort of have that like padding around you or whatever,
hmm
and there's a couple of them, a couple of the seats, but they're standing,
right,
and there was sort of this helmet thing actually that I had to put on my head, and then you feel the forms sort of go just to consciousness, and then I could travel through the air, see the land, see the land, land below me, and I was telling you, yes, it was funny because when I was practicing, I shot myself out over a wide body of water, and I hate deep water. It makes me very nervous, not seeing like what's in the depths down there.
right.
So, and when I'm like teleporting, I'm like, oh no, like I don't want to go that way, and I'm managing to pull myself over to sort of hit in more of the shallow end of the water, and I literally had to practice doing it to get better at it, to be able to put myself where I wanted to go. And I had a few dreams doing that, practicing. So what it means, I don't know. But
That's pretty cool.
that's what I dreamt. It is very cool.
What about
And
telepathy? Any like communicating with other people with telepathy, or have you had anything like that?
hmm, not that I can recall, but there's definitely a knowing, which doesn't require communication. But it's not like I can remember the sensation of actually being telepathic with somebody.
hmm
But besides my guy now in real life, like I do that to him all the time.
Right.
I'm hungry, I'm cold. Yeah, and babe, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? So yeah, so I think I use that in real life far more than I do in dreams.
So
Yeah,
what have
for
you
sure.
had as far as the Ascension itself? Before you knew about Ascension, what kind of dreams did you have that dealt
So
with
those
that?
were the really powerful ones that we talked a bit about yesterday, and it was really just showing me everything. Like the sky would totally change, and often it got like really dark, but there was like red, so red, along the horizon, and there could be a multitude of things going on, like a volcano going off in the distance, and there's asteroids, and there's generally people just running around in panic, and an eventual sort of even crumbling of buildings. There's UFOs. A lot of times too, there'll be the UFOs, even when it's not so dramatic. The UFOs will come in. I'm like, oh, and I in my dream I look at them and I'm like, oh, okay, there they are. Like I was expecting them. All right, there it is. Okay, let's go. And I always seem to know what to do and where to go. I try to, along the way help who I can, but I'm not able to help everybody. But I do manage to bring a few people with me,
Are
not
the
even necessarily
aliens
people that I know.
are the aliens ever anything to fear, or are they friendly? What are they like?
Never in my dreams. No, never in my
Just in
dreams.
Hollywood.
Yeah,
That's so funny that you can see this
yeah,
push to make aliens so, something to
yeah.
fear in Hollywood
Well,
that
what I could not believe was the timing of that movie, Annihilation, that they put out with the shimmer. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You sons of bitches. You're gonna try to ruin that too.
Yeah.
You're not taking that away from me. They're actually trying to put. And I do believe that. I do believe that they're trying to put fear to something.
I
So if people
appreciate it,
see
though.
that coming,
Yeah.
that they're trying to attach fear to it.
They let me know exactly what I need to be thinking the opposite.
Oh, exactly.
You know what I
That's
mean?
you know what. That's what I said. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the affirmation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not going to work for me the way you want, and I think not for as many people as you're hoping it will. But because people are catching on,
Yeah.
that they do that.
I think when you see how far advanced we are and how we're able to cause destruction on a unfathomable level, then you think of how much further advanced these other beings would have to be, and how they didn't probably get there at the point they're at right now by being, really violent. They probably learned to get along and not to be so primitive in their actions, right? To reach that level of technology that if they really wanted to wipe us out, it would be no problem just wiping us out. So that must not be their intention.
Well, like I said yesterday, till they're able to get everything running without us, right?
Yeah, it's like they haven't made contact because we're too primitive at this point. Oh, thanks, Biker Babe.
Yeah. Yeah. What occurred to me when you're saying that is polarities. What's the polarity of destruction? I think is creativity, right? Is creation, destruction, creation. And, if you take away all the energy that's put into destruction and put all that into creativity and creation, yeah, you'd get a lot farther pretty fast.
Exactly.
I think we would surprise ourselves on what we could do.
Yeah, Tom Campbell points out the fact that, if you've got every single person on the planet looking out for you, and you're looking out for every other person on the planet, how much further will we get as a society than if everyone's just looking for themselves? Because now you've got every single person looking out for you, right? and it's like every person on the planet's looking out for me. So
well, what more to it though is our combined energy strength, power actually that we have when not even all of us, even just some of us can unite our manifestation abilities, and I think that's going to be the real kicker. It's not the actual physical stacking of bricks. It's, I think, what we can and will accomplish when we have a collective merging of our creative intentions for what we want to happen, what we want to feel, what we want to aspire to, what we want to build. And that's what makes us gods.
Right. It's like our combined forces combine in an exponential way. So it's like
it blows anything else out of the water that's been here before. And that's where we have nothing to fear. So, I've been, even with joining the chat community that, you've had, and you guys are great, like you like to do with Josee. You have your little fill-up station,
right.
And so in meditation, I'd really love to mention this to everybody, who's listening, and because I feel like it's something that'll really, really work, and I think that you'll feel the power of it right away when you try it, because I know that I have, is visualizing in your meditation. You ground yourself and center yourself and attach yourself to that, sort of cosmic energy that's filling in and the light. Well, you know what? Put your energy feelers out to your community, to those of like mind and like energy. Feel it wrap around. Feel the grid. Reach out for the grid. Sink your energy fingers into it, and you'll get a real boost. And the other visualization that came to me as well, which is really cool, a couple days ago, is everybody's waiting to see this external wave, right? This external thing come at us. What I realized is, take it or leave it, but for me, we are the wave. When they say it starts inside of you, it really does. So, I challenge anybody out there to give this a kick forward. Go into your meditation, attach to your grid, attach to your community, right? You'll feel that energy boost in. Then I want you to visualize, not this rainbow wave coming at you. I want you to visualize that energy light in your heart, in your core, that sphere, that bubble, that rainbow bubble is in here. It's right here. And then feel it expand. Okay? Feel it expand outside of yourself and expand it until you see it and feel it expand around the world. And use your community to do so. And I think, of the ones that are thinking like minds, and attach to the ones that are thinking the same thing. And that will really boost that power. And I think that if this is what everybody really wants, we'll watch it come that much faster. I think, if you can say to yourself in that moment, I am the wave. We are the wave.
Yes.
We are the saviors that we've been waiting for. This is not just a saying. Everybody's looking, I know everybody's bored. I know they're fed up. But listen, this isn't just about the destination. This is about the journey. You have to feel that wave now in this moment. If you want to feel it tomorrow, next week, next month, feel it now. Feel it now inside of you. And feel the others that are feeling the same thing. And we will make it happen like that.
And that seems like one of the pushes. We were just talking about how, you want to do just the opposite of, or believe what the opposite of what Hollywood seems to be pushing. And it's like, that's everything that's designed. These structures on Earth are all about waiting. Wait for this, wait for that, wait for this.
The next thing.
Keeps you stagnant instead of actually
When
putting
are
that
you
intention.
Happy?
Right. Somebody
Because
mentioned
all you
something.
have is this moment right now.
Someone mentioned something in the chat I wanted to respond to before
Yeah.
it gets too far away, because this happened to me last night. They said, has anybody experienced, I lost it now, but I read it and I remember. He was just saying flashes in your eyes when you
Yes.
go to bed. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
got
glad
that
that-
last night.
Who watched the Allison Coe video that was out? I know Shane hasn't watched it yet, but I bet you a few of
I
my
saw
cast
it.
members have watched it.
It came out on the 12th, actually. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. So that came up, and I know people have been bringing that up. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. I definitely, eyes closed in meditation, I'm seeing some crazy waves. I'm seeing the lights. I'm seeing colors come
But
in.
just last night, the flashing, I went to go to bed and I had my eyes closed, and I always try to see if I'm getting visuals or start picking up on dream visuals and stuff. And my eyes started flashing, and I actually opened them because I thought something in the room was flashing. Because I played this music at night, and I thought maybe my screen was flickering or something, but no, it was in my eyes, and I closed my eyes, and it was still there. I'm like, holy cow, this is like, and it's sort of like what I've seen with the Schumann resonance going crazy lately, and I'm like, this is all connected,
I looked it up last night. Yeah. Thanks to Scott for sending me the link too, and for space weather, I encourage anybody to take a look at that stuff. It's not just all the difference of their science, you can be looking at as well and following.
Oh, totally.
Suspicious Observers is fantastic.
Yeah.
If you want to look
I've actually
at
got that app. They've got an app
so
you
he
can
put a great series out. There's 3 videos he did, I believe. I encourage anybody to look them up, and he talks about, the Earth's magnetic system, and the suns and the solar, and how all these things, and where we are in the galaxy right now. We're coming sort of out of this cloud, so all these things hitting us for a multitude of reasons. He gives a great bunch of explanation, great visuals, and you can really see what's going on. So fantastic information there.
Yeah, and it's not all, everybody thinks it's, not everybody, but many people that aren't awake thinks it's just woo-woo stuff.
That's what I was going to say, woo-woo, yeah. Oh, you had dreams, did you?
You saw flashing, did you?
Yeah, you saw flashing, did you?
Well,
and you know what, that's why I think it's so important, and why I reached out to you too. These affirmations are so important, because what they've done for me over the last year has been enormous, and that's what has helped build the faith of being able to follow the breadcrumbs and keep going, because being able to see, look, I was just in there, they are, they're talking about it, seeing those synchronicities, seeing that other people are thinking or feeling the same things. And I think, that just brings us together even more, And this can be so alienating, it could be so lonely, and it's hard to have people to talk to about it, you know, all of it. And you know, everybody needs to know that even though we're spread thin, we are all out there, and you're not crazy, and we are all going through this, and you have a family who's experiencing this too.
That's what I love the live chat, because everybody can come here and chat with people that, you know they're not crazy for mentioning stuff.
Yeah, or ask questions, you know, like if you see anybody asking questions today, you know, I'd love to answer questions, and just to see that, hey, you're not the only person thinking about this that way. Or you're not the only person that had that image pop in their head, or had that dream, or had that experience. And when you know that and see it, it's like, oh, the excitement level just goes, you know, through the roof. Right?
So you've been feeling all these energies too, then?
So much. So you know, it just builds every day. Every day is a whole other, to level up. Just keep on leveling up.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, the training, I know, and it's tiring. Listen, it's not all easy. Some moments and some days I feel like I have so much joy in my heart that I could burst.
Yeah.
And other days I'm like, I just don't even want to talk to anybody. I don't want to look at anybody. I don't want to get out of bed. It's not like, oh, I hate myself, I hate my life. It's not like that, but it's just like, oh, I'm just exhausted. My head hurts. My body hurts. I'm tired. I'm tired of feeling this way. You know, so it's a bit of a roller coaster too sometimes.
Definitely.
It's very tiring.
We were both just talking right before we went on the air about how we've both been feeling the burst of energy, and then when we get into that meditative state, how it's actually been the opposite for both of us. How we normally feel more energetic. Now we're feeling more sleepy.
Yeah.
And
if I meditate in the morning, I'm going back to bed.
Right.
I'm not getting anything done.
So what do you think? What's your ideas on what's happening now that's sort of shifted?
They're stretching with it. We're exercising.
Yeah.
We're exercising. We're stretching. We're stretching. We have, because you know what? I know everybody wants it today, but what you have to recognize is we're doing reps right now.
Yeah.
You know, and we're stretching, we're exercising to be able to hold this light, because it's a lot of energy. It's a lot, and it can be overwhelming, and it will be overwhelming.
And that's
I
one
think
thing
that they're doing what they can
about.
to break us. Yeah, to break us in, try to hold more light.
Yeah, so you mentioned that, and I kind of thought about it, how like when your foot or your leg is asleep, and you know when it's starting to wake up, I guess, and it feels real intense. It's not painful, but it's.
I'm getting that in meditation. I'm getting that in meditation now, because I'm feeling so much energy coming out of my hands and my feet.
Yeah.
I'm putting my foot even on a cushion. And I feel, I can't even tell you, I don't know, it feels like they're on a much harder surface, and the vibration coming out of them is like pins and needles. Yeah, like my foot's falling asleep.
I've been getting my hands vibrating ever since that. I've done the thing with Everyday Master's Case on his channel. He shows you how to play with the energies, and I had a session with him, and my hands are just zinging, like I can feel them vibrating. You know, they're awake, but I can still, just the palms of my hands are just zinging a little bit. You know, like
well, you know what? I have a great recommendation for people if they do want to do energy exercises or feel the energy, or sort of, prime themselves a little bit every day. Two people that I really admire a lot and have done a lot for me. Great spiritual leaders that have been doing it for well over 15 years, and they're called Sri and Kira, and you can find them on YouTube on official Sri and Kira, and their channel. They have so much information for people. Is it
under that name, Shri?
Official Sri and Kira. Right now, they posted out last month, or no, it was for March. They posted out 20 new Ascension symptoms, and the lights and everything are in there. I really encourage anybody who's experiencing, different things right now, go watch their 20 new Ascension symptoms. But their website has great exercises, different things you can do to visualize and feel the energy and stretch your energy self out, and they're just fantastic, amazing people, loving people, and there's so many really, really great people that I've learned so much from over the last year. So I'd say blessings to Andrew Martin if he ever sees this. Of course, everybody Plaza Allison Co. Crystal Ann Compton, it's great for working with energy and downloads. Fleur Brun, you mentioned the other day, that girl is a blast. And she's really out there. You know, she might be a little far out there for people, but I feel her sincerity in everything she does, and her love in everything she does.
And of course, N5D's another
yeah.
good one that's out there, Greg.
Oh, and love to Angela, my new soul sister Angela. I have to throw a shout out to her as well. She's being amazing, supportive, and so loving. And I think I loved her the first time I saw her on her show. She's amazing.
There's so many amazing people, I can't even name them all. Or you know, really, I have to shout out everybody in the chat right now, because all these light workers that are all coming together, and it's it's awesome.
I know, so I was like, I gotta get in there, because I mean, they've been yelling at me to do this for a while. Like I said to you yesterday, I have to make everything so complicated. You know, it doesn't have to be that complicated, Michelle. So, you know, I want to get this camera and do this thing. And
you mentioned Allison Co. She will be on tomorrow, just so you guys know. And,
fantastic. I'll be watching that for sure.
And also Nathan, which we missed yesterday, he had some laptop problems. He will.
Yeah,
we're gonna try to
I want to say
shoot
thank you to Nathan.
We're going to try to shoot for Thursday for Nathan, so, and hopefully we can make up for Monday, and then we can be back on schedule for next Monday.
Yeah. So. You know what, because he missed yesterday's show, I mean, talk about song lyrics. I'm going to give one that helped me a lot over the last year. I mentioned it to you yesterday. It's not a long one, but it's by Luba, and Let It Go. So I know a lot of people right now, you know, can get caught up in the external stress of the situation and what to do, and have doubts and so many things. So, you know, here's some great, if you want to hear a great song, look up Let It Go by Luba. And so it's too many doubts, too much fear, too much danger. When society constructs our human nature, live by the rules, live by the laws, live by commandments, notions preconceived can lead to utter madness. Let it go, let it go, let it free your body, let it move your soul, let it go, let it go. No, we are made, we are not born. Learn to convert, learn to assert, learn to abandon ideologies and disciplines at random. Lay down the laws, lay down the rules, lay down commandments. Lift the sanctions that restrict this woman's madness. Let it go. There you go, that's for you, Nathan. Much love.
Let it go. Thank you for the new subscribers. So yeah, it's like we can get caught up in things, and that's sort of
that
like
song
the
helped me a
battle.
lot.
It's like either worrying about the future or tripping about the past that you can't do anything about. It's
waste
like
your time.
anything
You're
to get you out of the
time.
moment, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the moment is where you need to be, where things happen, where you manifest, where synchronicities happen, where everything
Have faith
happens.
in yourself. In this
Definitely.
moment, I trust myself. In this moment, I trust myself. And trust the support that you have out there. Your angels, your guides, all that energy that's around you, man, they've been working really, really hard. So you got to give them some credit and some gratitude, and you know, let your higher self take the burden. You know, if you can put some higher self, trust in your higher self, that they know what's going on. So let it go.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been told over and over again, is that, you know, don't worry about anything. Everything is happening just as it's supposed to, no matter how chaotic it gets. It's
no matter how stupid you think that thing was you just did.
Right. It was
you learned. It actually might fit in. It probably fits into the whole scheme of things in ways that you have no idea.
And if you're tripping over it, you probably learned something from it, right? So don't trip over it.
Yeah.
You got what you were supposed to get.
You know what? That's
from
great.
it.
If you're reacting to something, good.
Right.
Good. But stop. And say, I'm reacting.
Realize you learned your lesson and move on. And
yeah, why am I reacting? What is it? And just go a little deeper. Breathe it in. Breathe the feeling in. Is it yours? Is it something else? If it is, you know, and then let it go. You don't have to keep it. That's the one thing that that has really stuck with me, when I really realized that there wasn't a difference in recall for me from a memory to a dream. I'm like, well, what's the difference then? So what's the difference even from what I tell myself I experienced even? Like, you can change your story and change your whole mindset and change your whole life, I believe. You know, reimagine that situation.
Yeah, I was about to say
end
that.
it a different way.
Yeah, that Allison Coe brought up before in one of her things.
I absolutely agree with her 100%.
So if you're tripping over it, go back, relive it, play it out the
Redo
way
it.
in your mind that you wish it would have went, and that's how
Yeah.
you remember it at this point. Don't
Because you
trip
know
over it.
what?
Yeah.
I bet you in another timeline you did do it that way. I kind of think you did do it that way. So when you skip and remember and believe it that way, well, boom, you can hop yourself onto that timeline then.
Quantum jump onto a different
Oh
timeline.
yeah, I like to. I'm huge on visualizations. I like to visualize myself on skates, and I'm just going. Go with the flow, right? You gotta trust in yourself, and you gotta feel the flow running through you. And when you stop and you start to, doubt and question, and what about this and what about that, and it's really important. You'll deal with it in the moment. If not, then just do what's in front of you.
Definitely. Welcome, Sue Owens. New
Hi,
subscriber. So, have you had any, I guess, reoccurring dreams lately that, that seems to be, trying to maybe not teach you something in the moment, but show you something about the future or anything like that?
The big thing for me and I've even had to write it down, is I have this house that I found, a few years ago, and I just loved this house so much, and it was right on the water. It was like a cottage, and I knew how to get there, and it's always the same. And I go back to this house, and now I can go back there at will. I can just drive. It goes down a hill. It's at the bottom of the hill, and the driveway's, there's no house on the left, and where the driveway is and what kind of house is. There's windows all off the back that look out over the water, and I can walk down to the water, and over here there's a cove where there's little cottages that you can rent and a little beach, private beach, or you can go this way that I know takes you into, I know this world, and I
That's
love
wild.
it so much. And when I would have the dreams of being at this house, I wouldn't want to wake up, or I'd want to go back to sleep, and I'd want to go back to the house. And now I'm at the point where I'm going back to this house all the time because I want to.
You could probably
I'm
do that meditating too, couldn't you?
Purposely go. Well, yeah, I can draw. I can see it so clearly. So it's allowed me to. What I'm finding is having repetitive dreams now has become my choice. That's interesting.
That is interesting. It's almost like a vacation, vacation home.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I'm able to. Yeah, go back there at will because I know how to get there. Give you directions.
That's wild.
So I'm hoping. I think that's my house someday. Someday I will be there. Because if I can bring it there in my dream, well, I can bring it here.
Definitely. So do you do what they call lucid dreaming a lot, where you are really taking an active role in controlling things? And
That's pretty much, yes, exactly what I'm saying. Yes, lucid dreaming. It's more, my lucid dreaming. It's not that it's the repetitive dream. It's the lucid dreaming that's a nightly occurrence now.
So you know that you're dreaming then a lot of times.
A lot of the time, yes, and I know that I'm practicing, and I know, a lot of the time now I am. So even so that if something's happening in my dream that I don't like, or somebody comes up that I don't want to deal with, a bad person or whatever it is, I'm just like, no, actually, this is my dream.
You're out of here.
You're either you're gonna disappear, or I'm gonna go. It's hard to explain. It's like I could pull myself back in, and then just put myself back out somewhere else. Yeah, crazy. So how can I not think that eventually I'm going to be able to do that as a reality? I think that's what it's telling me.
Yeah.
How long that'll take, I don't know. In this lifetime, I don't know. I'm hoping, but I also know that we're infinite. So in my infinity, I have and will and do experience it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's one of the things that I always return to, is that people are like, how can you say that, this is a simulation, everything's so real, you can touch things? I'm like, well, when I'm asleep, I can touch things, I can smell things, I can feel things in my sleep. What's the difference if I wake up from this dream of reality that we're calling reality? It's totally believable.
You know what that brings me to is, you remember the dream that I told you about yesterday about the board game?
Oh, yeah. Let's hear about that one. That was interesting.
Yeah, and because that's got to do with the simulation in the Matrix, right?
Right.
So in this dream, I'm told, and they're definitely extra, outer dimensional beings again, telling me, and it's like, I'm in this room, and there's just a table with this board game on it, and they're telling me that I have to play this game 3 times, just 3 times, or go through these 3 levels to complete this game, and that's it, and then I'll be done. And I do not want to play this game. It is terrifying. It's a nightmare. Each level is a nightmare. I know that. I don't want to do it. I know it's a struggle, but I know that I just have to get through these 3 levels, these 3 games, and I'm done. And I go in, the first level, and it really comes in like a matrix, like a simulation around me, like slat, 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 where the floor, comes out and the environment builds around you, right? It's really like the matrix.
Do you know you're dreaming in this or not? Does it seem real?
Very real.
Okay.
Very real. Very real. And so I go, through the first level, I get through it, and then, it peels away, and then slat, 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 out comes the next level, and I go through that, and I beat it, and I get through it, and then the 3rd level, and I beat it, and I'm like, and it peels away, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I did the 3 levels, I'm done. And then all of a sudden, it starts to go, the floor starts, slat, 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 and I'm like, oh, no, you don't. You better never. And it went to try to put me in it again. And I was furious, and I literally, like I do, it just pulled myself right in to my energy, pulled myself right out of it, like if you were to, like Harry Potter in the water where he's looking in and he pulls his head, he's having the vision in there, and then he pulls his head out, really exactly like that, pull myself out of it. And I'm this kind of the crazy part, but I think I understand the reason for it, which I can explain after, but I pull myself out and I'm looking at a reptilian male, not a scary reptilian male, and in my thinking process I think it's my dad. and then I go, well, if that's my dad, who am I? And I turn and I look in the mirror and I see these completely different, huge eyes with this like peach color to them, totally different. All I see is these eyes, and it freaks me out so much that, again, boom, I pull myself up out of that vision and up into being awake, into literally being awake. Now, I'll say what I think that dream was is, because I did not like that. When I woke up, I did not like that, there was this reptilian dad in there. I'm like, I'm not, because of the stories and everything. Whether that was the case in some life or something, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but I think what it was really teaching me is that what I am truly or have been is far beyond what I can imagine now. So just be prepared for that, because as the knowing grows and as you remember, I will remember more of who I am, and who I am is not just this visual image right here. And some of those things may shock me when it happens. So I think that's kind of what it was telling me there.
It is hard to separate us from what we see in the mirror. It's hard to imagine that there's so much more to us than what we see in a reflection, and that can be completely different, but we still be us, or that we can not even stuff all that we are into these physical vehicles. You know what I mean? Or that there might be like 9. I think one of the theories I read in this recently in a story was that there was not, like, your higher self, there's 9 of you running around. You're just one of 9 people on the planet right now that is a part of this higher oversoul or whatever. And I thought that's pretty interesting. You know what I mean? Well,
yeah, I kind of felt like that too. I got that in meditation. Like, I might not be the only aspect of myself on this planet at this time. So even with meditation, I connect into those other aspects that may be out there at this time, and feel that they're moving along with me, and pull those aspects back into me.
Yeah. And on some level, we're all like a fractal of the
That's
source.
Right. We're talking about fractals. We're all fractals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all those different shades. Yeah. All those different colors.
It's amazing, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, that's an interesting point I wanted to bring up, is because Allison talked about it, the colors and seeing different colors.
Yeah.
They were discussing in this video, and I thought it was really interesting because lately, because I eat color, I love color. I get markers, the color. I love color, But lately I've been feeling like I don't have enough colors. I don't have enough, and if you know how many colors I have, I got every kind of color marker, every kind. And lately it's like there's more colors than this. This isn't enough colors. And it was interesting that they were, and I was thinking that I think that I'm going to be able to see more colors that I'm not aware of now, that there is more colors, there is more shades that are going to be available to me in the future. And they brought that up yesterday. And I think one of the people that had a session talking about
And then they couldn't remember
different
once
colors.
they got back.
No,
they were like, I can't
because
remember
you can't
what it
imagine
was.
it.
Isn't that weird? It's
if
like,
you've never seen blue, how
Right.
do you explain blue?
yeah,
If
I
you've
totally
never
get
seen
it.
it, so it's exactly the same thing. I don't know what blue is until I see it, right?
Totally, yeah. And I've heard about that for a while now, that there's other colors, and I look at a color wheel and I'm like, it's complete. Work it out. You can't fit any other colors in there, but
But then, like, there's gotta be more
right.
colors. People are saying they're getting bored or whatever. I'm like, there's more colors. Yeah, so
Definitely.
I think so. More notes of music. We'll see. Yeah,
Wow, I
that'll be
hadn't even
nice.
thought about the music thing, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's wild stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. Well, I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to have you
I'm
back
thinking
more.
when angels sing, they probably have a lot more access to sounds.
Yeah, and if you kind of think of how our eyes are, there's like a bandwidth or a window that we can see,
Well, that's
a
it.
window
We
we
only
can hear. Yeah,
That's
the
right.
same way we don't
So
see
just
ultraviolet light. We love black lights because we can see them reflecting off of white and things like that.
Yeah.
But the light looks dark, but it's not really dark. We just can't see it. And it's the same way with,
Mm-hmm.
our remote controls have that little glassy LED on the end of it, and we push the
Yeah.
button and light's coming out of that. And if you actually take a phone and record the end of your remote, you can see it light up because it
Mm-hmm.
transfers it into a range that your eyes can see. So you can test the
Right.
remote and see if it's lighting up or if it's broke. That's a way you can do that. You can
Yeah.
actually pull out your cell phone and your camera
Yeah.
and record the end of your remote, and you can see it light up, but we can't see it with our natural eyes.
Or you can turn it around and press the button and look at it.
Right. Well, you can't see it though.
I don't.
Right, you can't see it.
Mine does that. Like, okay, maybe some people's mine lights up. I'm sorry.
Oh, it does? Yeah, you can't see
Yeah, or
the-
maybe it's just me.
It's
Maybe
infrared. Maybe you can see
maybe I
infrared.
have iPhone technology.
Yeah, maybe you have that's what night
Yeah, I
vision
don't know.
uses.
I
It
just thought
shoots out.
everybody could see that.
Well, some of them have like a light in it too that like flickers or whatever. But yeah, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I've got any questions here.
Yeah, see if you have any questions.
Oh, it's just suggestion. Let's see.
Do my hair different?
No, it's to post a time, and if you will look in the description box and see, there's multiple social media platforms that you can follow that will give you a heads up that I'm about to go live with the show. And just so if you want a heads up, you can follow one of the many social networks that I'm already on and get a heads up about live shows. I don't typically know too far ahead in advance, so
I can vouch for that.
yeah, I just don't know. I mean, we were going to go on yesterday. I was like, well, no, I guess
Babe, you got to live in the moment.
Yeah.
You got to live in the moment.
So
Right? It'll
so-
happen when it happens.
the best I can say is just, and you can always watch it later too. So
It's fun
Thanks.
joining in the chat though when you can.
it is fun.
Yeah.
And we do have the Monday one that is so exciting with Nathan, but we didn't have
Yeah,
it.
that's
So
been
people are like,
fun.
what's the deal? This is like
I know. That's what I was trying to tell you. Listen, people expect you to be on now.
Right.
Somebody's got to help work Josee out. She can't come on here.
Yeah, I'm so thankful to have her. She helped me out so much in
Yeah.
the beginning. She was like,
Yeah, she's
'cause
sweet.
She was, I mean, even before she came on with me, she would, say, well, I can be your moderator and, make sure, because I didn't really want to go live and then have trolls on there, and I'm trying to do, go live while I'm watching that. So she really
Yeah.
encouraged me a lot in the very beginning. So you guys have Josee to thank for me even being on here as much as I am, because she's been my crutch quite a bit of the time. I see
Yeah.
she's been working overtime. I see a lot of deleted comments. So
Oh,
she's-
really?
She's got her rent. She's boinking out the trolls for me. See, that's what I'm talking about. I don't even worry about
Okay.
it anymore. Thank you guys. All my
No
moderators.
negativity.
Yeah, or
Right?
the
And we're all
fear.
different. Listen, nobody has to take, my experiences as their reality. We all have our own reality. We just need to respect that everybody has their own reality, and that's okay. And we're all going to experience these things in different ways and in our own way. And that's what makes us special is our uniqueness, and our uniqueness in how we receive messages and information, and how we express that. So you just got to be you.
Oh, someone's asking about Nibiru. What have you had as far as dreams about that? Have you had any recently? You said you had some cataclysmic or whatever dreams before, but anything recently with Nibiru?
No, not recently, but I certainly do follow it, and I like to look at the sky all the time and taking pictures. WSO is great. I really like
I
him.
thought that's when, like, I was totally 222 viewers right now watching. I just noticed 222.
Awesome.
They were back in like 2009. I guess I started looking into the whole Nibiru thing, and so I wasn't expecting Ascension like in 2012, like so many people were. I was expecting this planet to come through and wreak havoc on our solar system, but I was totally oblivious to the whole Ascension thing that so many people.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Well, Nibiru was only be like a year. I didn't know about Nibiru when I had my dreams about it.
Oh wow! So what did it look like?
No, I didn't. It was the color of the sky. There was just so much stuff going on. There's so much stuff in the sky, and it was the color of the sky too, on that red, and those colors that you do see around now in the sky. So
have you
there's
noticed?
definitely a lot more
the,
going on up there than
the
what they're
iridescent
showing.
clouds and stuff? You've noticed?
Yeah, but what gets me, so what I've noticed for a while, at least here, is, you have the sun, and you get this halo around it all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm finding these two spots, and I've found this for over a year now, in about, I would say, like a 3 o'clock and a 10 o'clock position, where, and I don't know if this is where they're doing some kind of refraction thing, that's causing like this an area of rainbow,
Right.
like it'll be a sort of a rainbow spot.
they
on the
call those
clouds. I'm finding
sundogs.
it's always in the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't know why they call them that.
these rare things happen every day now, right?
Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever saw a sun halo when I was like 10 years old, and it was a big deal. I'd never seen one before that, and it was like, wow, that's really cool. Now it's like all the time, and now you see halos around the moon, and now
The moon, that's pretty trippy too.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, anybody who says they're not spraying stuff, I'm like, do you not see the plane going? Like, why? Okay, as soon as the sun starts setting, it's like, pew, pew,
I used to think,
pew.
and I'm like on the fence about it, but I used to just completely be sure that the chemtrails was what was creating that iridescence up there. But
I'm
now,
sure too. Like, I think that's too. I think there's a
now I
lot
don't
of
know
things going
though.
on.
Now I'm like,
I don't even know if there's only one reason that they're doing the chemtrails. I think it could be multiple reasons even.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like one specific answer, right?
yeah, it's a worldwide
So-
thing though.
Yeah, no, I know. And I think, when the sun flashes, you see the video in Africa when the sun's like flickering, you see the sun flickering all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I certainly noticed that, like the brightness of it, the white bright of it, as opposed to, when we were
The
younger
yellow,
and it was
yeah.
yellow. And you could look at
Yeah.
it and sort of, you can't even look at it. And even with sunglasses sometimes now. So,
It is wild.
yeah, there's a lot of suspicious stuff. I mean, I don't think we're ever really going to know until we really know.
Right.
Yeah, till it all comes out, right?
Yeah.
And I hope a lot of that stuff will, disappear once that comes through, and hopefully we'll be able to see what really is going on up there. Hi, Zoe. Everybody say hi to Zoe.
Hi, Zoe. Well, I
She's gotta
definitely
get
want to
in.
have you back again.
Oh, I'd love
because
to. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe
Mhm.
have you on the panel with me and Josee and.
Yeah, I would love to do that as well. I think that would be really fun. She's got a great giggle, so we can give you in stereo giggle.
That'd be awesome.
The three of us will just be going. See?
It's contagious. We're all giggling.
It is, and I hope it gets people out there giggling as well. We gotta have fun with this. Let's not be so
definitely.
serious. Let's not take all this so serious. I know it's serious, and I know that we're living it, but let's have fun. We're creative beings here for this experience. So let's just experience it now. You are getting the waves. It's hitting you now. So feel it and start experiencing, because they want you to start practicing now. Don't just wait for when it gets here. And that doesn't mean that you have to do everything perfect every day, and don't eat this and don't drink that, and don't. Everybody live by their own rules for sure. And what you think helps you, and what you think doesn't. That you determine that. But just live, have fun.
Yeah, we're dealt with on an individual basis, and you know if you're being dealt with to get rid of meat or to quit smoking or quit drinking.
Sure, because you just kind of like you just like, I just don't want it, right? If you feel that way, and then you know what? And then next week you could turn out that you do. So don't be so hard on yourself. You know, we go through like waves of this, and maybe one week you don't want that thing and you think you shouldn't have it, but the next week you do. So you know, it goes back and forth, and don't. Everything doesn't have to be so adamant. Just, you know, because the more you doubt and worry and fuss about if you're doing everything right, you're totally being counterproductive.
Yeah, you're bringing yourself into this lower
just
vibration.
Just know that whatever you're doing is in divine. What did I share with you? All is in divine order, right? I told you those 1, 2, 3, 4 things yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, the four no's. That's from Shri and Kira as well. 1, I am not my body, right? 2, I'll find 2. I dropped it on the floor.
You got sticky notes everywhere?
My sticky notes. 2, the mind is my servant. So thank your mind for its love and service, okay? But it is your servant. It doesn't run the show, so don't let it. Yeah, and you're the divine master, right? Keep your eyes on the divine at all times. And all is in divine order. Even the things that you don't think are.
Yeah.
You know, even the stupid thing that you did yesterday, don't worry about it, because there's probably a reason you did, and it's not stupid.
Well, hey, before I let you go, I've got it, because, you know, almost everybody in the audience is affected by the Mandela effect. I wanted to get your experience with it. Like, when did you first, you know, see something happening? Did you hear about the Mandela effect and you're like, oh, looked into it and saw it was happening, or was it the other way around? Like,
somebody brought up the Berenstain Bears.
Oh, was that a trip
and I was
for
like,
you?
What are you talking about? Like I said, I read to my kids. I read books are a big part of my life. So if you're going to tell me about books, I know books and movie lines and song lyrics and stuff. Like, that's my thing.
Right.
So, you know, and then
so it wasn't hard for you to know.
I do remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison.
Oh yeah.
You know, because when he got out, I was like, and he was gonna, you know, and hearing he was going in for the election and everything, I was like, oh, I thought he died in prison.
Wow.
You know, so, but I didn't know about the Mandela effect then. I just
that was way before then,
that.
right? Wasn't that
I
90s
too?
That. Was it
yeah,
90s when he
got out? Yeah.
And then when was he president? Was that? Was it? I mean, was that in the 90s too, or was it?
Somebody out there has probably got better information on that.
Okay, because sometimes
life's a blur to me, but I remember thinking, before I knew about the Mandela effect, I certainly remember thinking, I thought he died in prison.
Yeah.
And that I was surprised to hear that he was, and but the first time the Mandela effect was the Berenstain Bears. The real clincher, though, was like the wolf laid down with, as much as I love the wolf.
Right.
It was not the wolf that lay down with the lamb. You think the religious people would be going bonkers over that one.
Right.
Like, what? Yeah.
Well, see, like,
and then there's
your
so
name,
many now, logos. And,
with your name being Wolf, you definitely know, you would have known if it was the wolf dwells with the lamb. And that was like Dark Wolf. I was on with him on Unirock, and Dark Wolf was on there. He's like, look, my name's Dark Wolf. I would have known if it was the wolf dwelling with the lamb.
Don't tell me.
Right.
Don't tell me about your wolf stories, okay?
Right.
Yeah, I know them all. And dreamt them.
That's awesome.
So, no, not
so
buying
when you
it.
heard about the Berenstain, now the Berenstain Bears, did you find it hard to believe, or did you go look it up? I
don't find a lot of things hard to believe sometimes. You know, I go with the flow, right? I was like, that's, you definitely do your, what? Yeah. You know, hold on, what? Oh, what? You're trying to rerun it through your head, but no. So, yeah. It's then there's so many things now, and then the more you look at them, it's great. I said there's a young online. There's this young 12-year-old boy. I think even if you search 12-year-old boy explains Mande1a Effect. Kid's amazing, just beautiful, beautiful soul. This young
Matt's
guy.
Logan, the
Yeah. Oh, I want to adopt him. Yeah, he's an amazing kid, and it's so brilliant. I just love these open minds that they have, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had some great explanations for things. So I enjoyed his philosophy on that too. So, but not that I know that if CERN's necessarily doing it. I don't really know what CERN's doing. I don't know if it's all really good or not, but I think it's, you know, timelines shifting, but I think they're signs. I think they're signposts.
Mm-hmm.
We've been given so many signposts everywhere in every religion, in, you know, walls on caves and Mayan temples and everything in our dreams and our hypnosis sessions and the messages, and it's just so many things that are road signs for us to tell us, you know, what's going on. So you got to really be your head in your own hands to not notice.
Yeah, that's what I think the divine meets you wherever you're at. That's what.
That's
and
true.
we limit whatever that is, you know, and
yeah, listen, everybody's here for their own experience, and this place is to experience things, and we choose what, you know, what we want to experience. And I think we, you know, have hopes of what our ultimate outcome is going to be and what goals are we, you know, want to have when we come in here, and you know, who's going to play out some of these things with us as well too, you know, to learn. But I think the days of karma are done. I do believe that. I think karma's done, and that's what drove a lot of us crazy for a little bit, I think, is flushing all that stuff out. It's a lot. Why am I crying for no reason?
It's a purification
like women don't
process.
do that enough. You know, like we don't get that enough.
Hey, I've been having revelations, and I find myself in tears just at the overwhelming emotion of the realization of knowing that I didn't just think of that. That was like downloaded, or you know what I mean? It's just when you realize it didn't come from yourself, it just...
When the magnitude of it really hits you,
yeah.
When you can really take those moments and just accept wholly the magnitude of the love and what's just so incredible that we can't even imagine out there, this whole other world for us to experience. And I don't just mean the new earth. I mean all that is out there beyond what we, in our little viewpoint that we see through, right?
Yeah.
It's just so amazing. When you get a glimpse of that for a moment, it takes your breath away and brings you to tears. You don't even realize you're crying.
Yeah.
You know, and it's amazing. And I believe we should be feeling like I hope we feel like that all the time. And I think that's what this is gonna be. That and that's my hope. That's what I visualize. When I visualize specifically, how I want that future manifesting the future now, I'm just feeling what I want to feel, because the rest of it doesn't matter as long as I feel how I want to feel. So you can put whatever scenery around it you want and dress it all you want. I'll leave that to my higher self, because as long as I know how I want to feel and I can instill and bring that feeling into myself now, that's what I'm going to bring forward. And so another thing I like to say is I am an infinite being. And joy, abundance, and bliss are my birthright. They will be mine. I will have them. Yes. So, and nothing can keep that from me anymore. And really, the new earth, I think, is more about not the scenery. I think we'll all experience a lot of different things. But I hope that the one thing that we really will share all in common with this experience is that every moment will be a joy-filled, bliss-filled, abundant-filled moment. To not be carrying that constant weight on our backs of, shouldn't I be doing something, or shouldn't I be feel guilty about something, or shouldn't I be doubting something?
Shouldn't I be working overtime, and shouldn't I be
shouldn't I
and just
be doing more, and shouldn't I be?
Yeah.
Yes.
That grind.
Oh, it's hard even. It was hard for a while to even be able to just give yourself a break and take a break, because you constantly have this feeling that's put on you that you're not doing enough in some capacity, or you're not enough in some capacity, or You know, you should be worrying about money, or you should be worrying about this or that or the other thing. And what would life be like if that was no longer the case ever? What if every moment from the time you woke up to the time you went to bed at night was just filled with that happiness?
Yeah.
Was just filled with that joy, with that bliss, with the abundance, you know, the drive to just be, you know, we are that creative aspect of God. We are that material that wants to create. That's what we want to do here.
And that's where we're
We
trying
want
to be.
to,
They're trying to keep us
yeah.
from that, you know, by
No,
working, and don't
exactly.
look into this and look into that. You need to go to work and work more and pay
But
these
really,
bills and
we
have
are
more.
superior creators.
Yeah.
And that is our drive to do that, you know, to come here to create and experience those creations.
Definitely.
To live, you know, to live in those creations and experience, manifest them and feel them around you. That's what we really want to do here.
Yeah.
Not just buy the newest iPhone.
Right. And that's within our power
Or have
to
the
do
biggest house or whatever.
Yeah.
I look forward to the time where those concepts aren't even, it's not even relevant.
that. Right.
They're relevant to your day-to-day living.
Yeah.
The only thing that, you know, you have to do is just get up, create, and enjoy the bliss of your creations in the glory of God.
Why do we need telepathy when we have the new iPhone 10 or whatever, you know? That's what they're trying to
Exactly.
keep us at, though. Yeah, where we're
I
just...
think we already do, you know. Why do you think we're all thinking the same things at the same time? We have our collective consciousness. We have our group consciousness. So when I get that message and that visualization and meditation that tells me something, you're getting it too. And
Yeah.
that is because we are joined already, and we are telepathically and quantumly sharing this information and sharing this experience
Yeah.
in all these different
the whole
facets. And
100 monkey effect or whatever they say. So it's like we don't need everybody to be awake, you know? There's enough of us at this point.
don't worry about anybody else.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
I don't care if that sounds selfish. You know, because you can't
wake
do
'em up
anything
anyway.
for anybody else
No.
until you really do take care of you, right?
And I think a lot of us are
Otherwise,
finding
what are you
that
going to do
out.
for somebody else? And you know what I had to accept too is that sometimes some of us, our role here is really just to hold the energy. It could be very hard, you know, us as light workers, from the outside to others that live in that real world. We may not look like very successful people, right? We may not have a lot of money, and we might not have, you know, these other things, and that can make us feel like we're not very successful sometimes, because as, you know, circles, we're forced to try to fit in this cube environment, right? But you know, those things are going to change. So, you know, some of us, it's not just about all those things you're doing externally. We feel so much pressure to do stuff externally. And really, sometimes your job is just to be internal. That's your gift to the world. What if just that was your gift to the world? Just being in here and being one with that, and being that light and holding that light and grounding it, you know.
And being content
We're the
without all
towers,
the new
right?
toys.
We're the towers to bring it in and be that grid. So, and in order to do that, what's the most important thing to do that is being at peace with yourself and in tune with yourself, and that requires being introverted sometimes, you know, and sometimes feeling, you know, alone in this. So, but we're not. So reach out for your grid, because it's there.
That's great. Yeah, I just noticed the new video from Laura and Beyond Quantum Consciousness. I can't remember her channel, but it said, broke Lightworkers. Holla. It's like,
I know.
and I had to laugh when I saw that. I haven't got to watch the video because it just came out, but I'm going to go watch it.
I don't worry about money at all anymore. You know, I eliminated, so we talked about this yesterday, eliminated so many things in order to simplify my life as much as possible, so I can't paint every day. You know, I do a job that I do enjoy, but I do it in a limited amount of time, enough to pay my bills, and I have what I need.
Yeah.
You know, because those needs aren't all external for me now.
Yeah.
You know, I've got I have the food I need to eat, and I have the roof over my head, and I have clothes on my back, and I'm loved.
Well, it's clear when you look around at rich people and that you see the unhappiness.
I don't think they're much.
Money doesn't bring you happiness. You know what I mean?
No, it brings you a lot more to worry about.
Yeah, it sure does. And we
Every dollar.
get caught in this system where, you know, you get a raise and you're like, oh, well, now I can afford this. And then you're
Never
always
enough.
staying right at that point where you're having to stay at the
Never enough.
grind to keep
Yeah.
up with the Joneses and all of that crap. But it's not, just
You know
be
what?
content, you know?
What I learned too is if you can take the concept away from, because, you know, so many people want to think, you know, but I don't have the money. Okay, but you don't have the money. Never mind the money. You know, what if you can bring in something into your life and a means that you can't even think of right now? You know, something happens, some situation, some set of circumstances comes around, and there's that thing that, you know, you were hoping to get that you didn't have the money for. So stop putting the money on it. Stop thinking that the money is the thing that you require in order to get that thing that you want, whether, you know, if it's a material thing or a destination or whatever it is. What if money isn't the only option?
Definitely.
What if it's just one
More money, more problems.
little option?
They're saying in the
So,
chat.
you know, instead of saying, oh, that sounds great, but I don't have the money. So that sounds great. Let's think about it more. Well, let's think about it. And then just think about it. Feel it, live it. And then you'll just be walking down the road and,
Yeah.
you know, it'll come out at you. That's what I believe now, too.
I've
So
seen
I don't
people
worry
live
about
like
the money
that.
for that.
You know,
Oh,
have
yeah, I
cars
do now.
given to them and have just whatever they need given to them because they believed. And they manifested it. They didn't need money, you know?
But they didn't require it to be happy now.
Right, exactly. It wasn't a
It's
conditional
not required for their conditional,
thing. Yeah.
right? You got to take the conditions off of things.
Hmm.
And the conditions of how you expect that thing to come to you.
Yeah.
Andrew Martin had a great thing. He would say, you know, so many people, they're like, I want this thing, and then there's the knock at the door, right? And they look through the people and they see, you know, somebody do something totally different than they were, oh, well, that's not it. You know, not answering the door, that's not it. But it is just not, you know, so open your mind a little bit. It doesn't come, you know what, very rarely comes to you the way that you imagine it will.
Yeah. And even
So
like worries.
leave that to God. Just, you know,
And
leave
a lot
yourself out of it.
A lot of people worry about things that never happen. You know, it's like,
Yeah, that's the big thing.
you know,
Why
you're
are you
sitting there-
worrying about
yeah.
something or why are you worrying about what somebody thinks? You don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Why do you think you're so important if they're thinking about you? Because
Right.
guaranteed to each person, what's most important to them is them, typically. What
Yeah.
they're thinking about is them, not you. So,
That
you know,
reminds me of
people
that song
worry
you
so
said
much.
you got.
You're so vain.
Yeah. Probably think the song is about you.
That you think the song is about you.
Yeah, that's so neat the way that works.
That one, I will say that one came up when I just, after listening to Nathan, and the next day I was doing, he suggested and asking questions for the song, the third one in. So how do I know that, you know, the song's really for me? So that's what I got.
I love the humor. I love the humor so much.
I love the
that's
humor
come through.
too. Well, now I know where I get my humor from.
Yeah, I've realized that too. It's like, you know, I used to think I was really quick-witted with humor and stuff, and then like just in
Yeah.
the last year, I'm like, that hasn't
You
been me
think you're
this whole
good.
time. You know, that hasn't been me. It's
Yeah.
my higher
Oh
self
yeah,
or
you're
something.
taking all the credit for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was all
exactly.
proud of myself,
That's
and
what I
now I
feel like
realize.
too. I've been told, where do you think you get your sense of humor from?
Right.
Yeah. Well, you think you're witty.
It's
Yeah.
like, why do I get to enjoy the laugh with other people? Because I didn't realize it either until I said it or whatever. You know.
Yeah,
so-
you actually didn't write the joke.
Right. Somebody's using me.
And you're bowing for it.
Right. And I got the credit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not so bad.
That's okay. We gotta take some credit sometimes, right?
Yeah. At least I was open
I
to it.
I still gotta sign my name on my artwork.
Right.
Right.
I funneled the joke through, okay?
Yes, you did a great job at funneling. Nobody funnels like you can.
Well, it's been a real blast.
So much
having you
fun.
here.
I
Yeah.
hope everybody else enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. I see just nothing but hearts and smiley faces. And
Love to you all. You've all been a blessing. So I'll certainly be on the chat tomorrow when Allison's on. And yeah, I look forward. I'll come back with Josee. Come back anytime you like. I'm around. Soul
I
brother.
appreciate you. Yeah, soul
Yeah,
sister.
appreciate you. Yeah. We've had some laughs already, so
Yeah, and she doesn't
Yeah.
have her YouTube. I saw a few people ask
I
about
were-
that. She's gonna get
Yeah,
her
I-
YouTube channel up, but it's not up yet.
But
and
I
we
think
will-
I'm going to actually start a whole new Gmail account and such for it. So,
Okay.
and hopefully that'll be done by the end of this week. So, because now I got this preemptive on the way. That's my, you know what, my first video, my debut.
Well,
Debut.
you
So
can-
I thank you. I thank you for that. So this is my debut to the world, the community that we're in.
And that's awesome. We'll definitely have you back when you get your channel up to promote it.
Yes.
Get people over there and stuff. So
Thank you.
we're all a
You
big
know what? I
team.
just want to be there for everybody, and I just want to, affirm things for people and help bring all this information together. And there's so much great stuff out there. So hopefully, we can get together and talk about all that other stuff
It's
that's
totally
coming up.
rewarding.
And
It's not
fun.
not financially rewarding, but man, it feels good that other
the
people.
payoff's going to be so much better. I don't need the
Oh,
lottery.
yeah, exactly.
I don't say that anymore. Oh, if only I could win the lottery. Right? I don't even say it anymore.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
need to.
It could be a curse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be.
Yeah, it's a good place to be, definitely. Well, lots of love
So
and light
peace,
to you guys.
peace and love. Yes, yes.
And we will definitely
I'll have to go back
you
and look at I'll have to go back and look at the chat. It's nice that they're posting that now, I think, so you can
Yeah,
go
that's
back
awesome.
and read some of it.
And I didn't have to have
But
it
anyways,
over the screen.
anybody with any questions too, if they want to throw a comment on after,
Yeah.
I'll make sure I take a look and read that too, and be happy to answer any questions. So
Yeah, those of you watching this later on, definitely
Mm-hmm.
post below, and we will definitely, she will respond to you.
and I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. They better not change that.
They
better
did.
not Mande1a that.
It's back. It's I'll be back now. He doesn't say bye.
Oh, is that right? Did they really?
Yeah, it's like he lost his accent.
You know what? That's it. That's I'm done right there. That's it.
That's where I
I'm
drew the
sorry.
line. You don't
Anybody
jack with
tries to
that.
tell me Mande1a's, I'm like, don't even bother me right now. I thought Luke, the
Yeah.
Star Wars thing was bad enough. Yeah. Never mind that. You're going too far now.
You messed with Arnold. So.
Yeah. Somebody had to.
Trying to get into politics. He's probably going to run
We'll
for
leave
president.
it to the big guy.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
he's-
definitely.
yeah,
I'll leave that
yeah.
one alone. I don't mess with politics too much because people just get
No.
fired
no.
up.
I'll observe a little bit, but yeah.
Well,
Don't
lots
get
of
me
love and
Trump.
light.
Don't get me Trump started.
Well, I guess 209 people watching at this moment.
Oh, awesome!
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Broke 200.
Minus the ones that poor Josee had to kick off.
Boink, boink. She's
Some
out there
haters.
boinking.
Some haters. Josee, tell me about it later. Well, I've got to chat with Josee now, so pass my info to Josee. Get her to message me so I can chat with her too.
Definitely will do that.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
and we can all chat live too. That'll be fun.
Yes, for sure. We're gonna do that. It's happening. It's so gonna happen.
Love and light.
I'll get the popcorn and ice cream for that one. All right.
thank you,
love,
Jenny.
love.
Yeah, lots of
Yeah.
love to you guys. Here's some more
Thank
hearts
you for everybody that watched today. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you'll be back again soon.
Definitely have you back.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time, have a good one, you guys. Peace.
Adios, amigos.
Adios.
Adios.
Mm-hmm.